Having something is always good, you know, as karting is a bit cheaper than these cars here, so we have to hang on that. But yeah, I like the bicycle. I like to ride my bike a lot, mountain biking, and gym also, few 2-3 days a week. So yeah, it's off season. You have to push hard so that you arrived prepared and reduce a bit the intensity before the races.
All right, thank you so much. Grazie mille. Good luck and also have fun.
Have fun and see you on the podium.
Thank you. Back to you, Adam.
Thank you very much, Andre. That was a bit supervillain coded, to be honest. The fans of the number 3 are singing too loud. Maybe I need to keep them quiet. Okay. Fighting words from Vittorio Gorelli. There's not much love lost between Paul Giffreau and Vittorio Gorelli after some of the action we had last year between the two of them. And both drivers so keen to make a legacy in Euro NASCAR. As we see there, Liam Hazeman's putting on his fan-friendly cap, signing autographs, and having fun with the fans, and his teammate Jill Linster. Linster, of course, running in Euro NASCAR Open with their new team, of course, a new alliance. It is still a car largely operated by Hendricks Motorsport. However, Rhett Jones Racing now a significant part of the setup there, and the American team that has run in many of the national series in NASCAR competition in the United States. Ran Noah Gragson to a top 5 finish in Nashville in the NASCAR Xfinity Series last year, and very exciting to welcome them into the NASCAR Euro Series. The increasing crossover between NASCAR globally, not just the Euro Series, but also, of course, with Brazil, with Mexico as well, and Canada. It is great to have the NASCAR Euro Series, though, with American presence ever more felt. And here is Liam Hazeman with Andre.
Yeah, thank you so much, Adam. Liam Hazeman, first of all, I get my autograph too. Normally I collect them in Zolder, you know that, to bring them home and collect them there. But I have my first one for 2025. A lot of them are already gone, right?
Yeah, actually, when there's much more people than the years before. So, no, very happy to see again like so many fans at Euro NASCAR. But it's very crazy because I must say this year we have really much more people than the years before. So it shows how much it's growing actually.
You're with an American team, Rhett Jones Racing, of course supported by Hendricks Motorsport, one of the most established teams on the grid. But this connection between Europe and USA, how special is it for you?
No, it's very special. You know, first of all, big thanks to Rhett Jones just for the opportunity. Of course, we have our guys at Hendricks that does always a huge and a perfect job as usual. But no, it's very important for us. I mean, you know, the bridge is now established. You know, our, let's say, the end goal, I think, for everyone that starts Euro NASCAR is to go to the US at one point. So yeah, to have those, you know, just have Rhett Jones, which is a successful team also in the US, to have them on board is just crazy for us, you know.
One day of Liam Hazeman's in winter, I saw you were quite busy driving different cars from different ages, doing a lot of social media work. How hard is it?
Yeah, it's tough, man, because actually what is funny is this year I think every driver is starting to create more on social media, more content, etc, etc. I tell you, I really thought to myself, well, it's easy, you take like 5 minutes and it's done. No. It takes, like, if you want to make one video or one content thing, it's really a lot of work. So, but I mean, it's very enjoyable. You also have good reviews, the fans love it, so it's something to keep on going with.
All right, so thank you so much. Good luck for the race. Back to you, Adam, and I will keep this, of course.
You got to see if you can snag one of the Lost Intuitions hoodies that one of Liam's partners is allowing Liam to sport this weekend. Great to see Liam Hazeman's and Jill Linster forging that path across the US, bringing in some new sponsors as well as the Rhett Jones Racing team. Meanwhile, there is Gianmarco Ercoli, of course, the 2023 champion. Maybe not quite where he wants to be on the grid for this race. He starts from 9th position within the top 10, yes, but in the new Mustang that he is competing in this season, the Lumitech Racing Ford Mustang. Canadian team with a Cal Racing technical alliance for this year. Ercole would have liked to have been a little bit further up the field, but we saw last year there are a few instances where Ercole maybe wasn't quite there on qualifying pace, but in the race he'd make up positions, he'd be in amongst it, and of course when it counted towards the end of the season he started to win races. He won a race during the double points playoffs at the end of the year and brought himself back into championship contention. Meanwhile, I can see that Andre Vigold is down there by the number 99 car, so I think we'll be hearing from Garrett Lowe very shortly, the American racer. There's Vladimiros Siortsis. He is getting himself hyped up at the wheel of his machine for this year. Siortsis joining the Speedhouse team for this year, one of many driver changes for this season, but there is Garrett Lowe with Andre.
Thank you so much, Adam. Yes, I'm here with the 99 Garrett Lowe from the United States of America, and we call you a hybrid racer because you grew up with iRacing, with sim racing. You're a professional sim racer in the NASCAR Series as well, but now you're in the real world. You're driving the 99 car, and it's a pleasant surprise to see you so far to the front on the grid, right?
I hope it's not a pleasant surprise. Yeah, we were excited to be up here, up at the front. So we had really good qualifying effort. Admittedly, I think I wanted to be top 3 in qualifying just for my own sake. But yeah, I mean, we had a great effort. Appreciate all the promotion team, BS Plus competition, and all our partners for getting us here. We've made a statement already. Now we just need to go run the race.
Yeah, qualifying and races are completely different. But one thing, I think a lot of people out there, they are on iRacing, they're doing sim racing compared to real world racing. What are the differences for you?
Yeah, the differences really are just the feel. You have more of a body feel, obviously, in a real car. A sim can only replicate so much of that, but obviously the same principles and racecraft tactics often apply. So we've seen plenty of successful sim racers come into the real world, and hopefully just another notch on the list is us.
How's your experience in Europe so far? I know that you've visited some different countries, France, for example, Germany, now Spain. How is it for you?
It's been awesome. We spent a week in Germany, so that was a lot of fun. Not really as much of a culture shock as I expected, but Spain has honestly been awesome for us. We've had a lot of fun, but we're at the track so much it's hard to go out and explore a little bit. But we were able to sightsee a little bit on Thursday when we got here, so yeah, all good so far.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. It's the 8th time I'm here, and I saw Valencia 2 times, so I know exactly what you mean. So all right, good luck and have fun. Hopefully we'll talk after the race again.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys.
Back to you, Adam.
Great to hear from Garrett Lowe, a race winner in the United States in late
Perfect.
models
Thank
and
you so
Legends, and the regular season champion in the Prodigy series, which ran Radical SR1s, and that was basically a crossover with sim racing stars competing in real life sports cars, and he was the regular season champion in that. Garrett Lowe, a great driver, very excited to see what he can do from within the top 10 alongside a 4-time World Touring Car champion in Ivan Muller on that 3rd row of the grid. That is hugely exciting, I'm sure, for Garrett Lowe. If you're just joining us, we are less than 20 minutes away from kicking off the 2025 Euro NASCAR season. This is the NASCAR Euro Series Pro Division lining up for their first round of the season. An 18-lap race here at the famed Circuit Ricardo Tormo, a revered facility across the world, but particularly here in Euro NASCAR, where it's provided so much exciting action, which Ivan Muller will be joining in on.
Thank you so much, Adam. You know, I know you're shaking now too, because we are kids of the 90s and 2000s, and we saw you racing already in WTCC, Trophy Andros, and now Euro NASCAR. Ivan Muller next to me. How's it going so far?
Yeah, not bad. You know, I discovered the car 2 days ago because I wasn't planned to be in the car. I was more planned to manage the team than to drive, but no, it's fun. I discovered the car, which is not easy. I didn't race in 3 years. I'm not in the driver mood anymore, but it comes back step by step.
Did you already taste the blood?
No, not yet.
Not yet. Okay, I asked that after 2 races, so hopefully we see you back in this car again.
Yeah, I don't know yet. It wasn't planned initially to have Jan Erlache in the car, and maybe we'll be in the car for race 2 onwards. We'll see. Nothing is decided yet.
All right, I totally understand that. So in this point, I just want to say enjoy the races.
I will. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Back to you, Adam.
I said it in qualifying, I'll say it in the race. We've got Ivan Muller in the Euro NASCAR world. His M Racing team is now here, is now part of it. And for so many years, Ivan Muller was a hero in the United Kingdom. He was the 2003 British Touring Car champion. He was the man, along with James Thompson, in the Vauxhall team in the early mid-2000s. And if Ivan Muller's in the Brands Hatch paddock and he doesn't wear a race suit, come on, Ivan. You've got to. You've got to. It's been a good 15, 16 years since we've seen Ivan Muller racing at Brands Hatch. And, of course, the American Speed Fest, one of the highlights of the year in the Euro NASCAR calendar. Thomas Chrysonis scored his first podium at Brands last year, Andre.
So much, Adam, Thomas. Really good qualifying, especially in Pro. How happy are you with the car and the team effort so far?
Well, I feel very happy. I'm comfortable completely with the car. I think, every year needs to fix the mistakes of the last one. So the whole thing is now to keep scoring points until the playoffs. We will see how it goes. It's obviously the first race of the season. But in terms of speed, I think we are there. We still have some things to improve. And if I can keep the pace of Paul, I think we will have an incredible weekend also in Pro.
I saw you also doing a lot of work for Euro NASCAR in your home country in Greece. How is that?
Well, it's great. Since I became the first Greek ambassador of the series, it's what can I say? It feels special, because we are teaching NASCAR to more and more people. The sport is getting more famous here in Europe, and that is the goal of everybody. I think, not only for me, for each driver that is here to make it as famous as possible. So,
but also not only on the fan side, for the drivers, we see a lot of drivers in the paddock talking to each other, working together. It's something very special with the atmosphere here, also between the teams and drivers, right?
Well, it's always like this, but keep in mind, that with most of the guys, with 80% of the guys, we are racing together for the past 5 to 6 years. So, in the end of the day, we are all here we are chasing the same thing. There are the rivalries, but the normal thing is to speak to each other, not to fight all the time. We keep the fighting for the race.
Oh, that's a good point. Back to you, Adam. Thomas Chrysonis.
Great to hear from Thomas Chrysonis with one of the most promising starting positions he's had in Euro NASCAR Pro or Euro NASCAR 2. He's another one of the drivers that's doing both categories this year, but he really does look strong. He's moved over to the PK Car Sport team, and it does seem that he's hit the ground running there with the support, no doubt, of Anthony Kumpan, with the drivers from across the garage, of course. Vittorio Gorelli, the defending champion in that 24 car. Thomas Dombrovski, also, of course, running that 24 in the open class. It's quite a hive mind between Kumpan, Dombrovski, Gorelli, and Chrysonis. Those are 4 people that can definitely, between them, create quite a fast car for just about any circuit in a Euro NASCAR machine. These 400 horsepower stock cars, of course, they are designed primarily for road courses, more of a symmetrical car than a US late model or anything like that. 1,200 kilos there or thereabouts as well, so fairly lightweight. And, of course, for the first time this year, a majority of these cars running 5-speed sequential gearboxes. So there is a little bit more freedom there in terms of just being able to maybe shift out a second into third if you start to feel excess slip. You can run a slightly higher gear out of the corners to try and make that rear axle last. Just before the anthems, Andre, you're with Claudio.
It's nice squeezing.
Yeah, we're just still checking. I hope I'm live now, Adam. Claudio, not the highway to hell, maybe the highway to victory today?
Here,
Yeah.
in this category?
Yeah.
I think not. I will survive. I will make some kilometer. My focus is in the next race, but if it's something that happens good, I will take it.
But qualifying was promising.
Qualifying was promising, yes. But no, I'm very. I don't want to speak about. I don't want to speak about.
We will see after the race then, right?
We will see after the race, as you said. I can find some word from a song this time. You are, I didn't think you come until this row, so I was not prepared.
No, all right, no worries. So we think about it together for the next interview, okay?
Yes, okay, I will think about for the Open. Thank you, Val.
Perfect. Back to you, Adam.
Bye.
Welcome to the jungle, Claudio. The higher end of the Euro NASCAR Pro grid. Something he's not so familiar with, but he is right up there at the sharp end. We are just a few moments away from the national anthems being played out here at the circuit. The hype is building. We're into the final 10 minutes before we kick off the 2025 NASCAR Euro Series season. So then the drivers are now in the final stage of preparation for this, the first race of the season in the NASCAR Euro Series. There is Paul Giffreau getting himself ready to lead this race from pole position. Alongside him, Vittorio Gorelli, the man who on more than a couple of occasions had some hard-fought battles and some, shall we say, harshly intended words for Paul Giffreau. Giffreau and Gorelli, not the best of friends. They are respectful drivers for the most part, but they will be looking to make statements on the track here. There is a motor racing legend in the form of Ivan Muller on that third row of the grid, sharing with Thomas Toffel, who will be in the open class race later on this afternoon. What a thrill to welcome M Racing into the world of the NASCAR Euro Series. And Ivan Muller set to compete in this round. We know that Jan Olacher will be more than likely filling in for much of the season, and that's a thrill, of course, in its own right, that he may well be in that pro class entry for much of the year. But I understand there's a car that could be made available for Ivan should he want it, and come on, Ivan. We know you love this racing stuff still to this day. Always exciting to see him. So then, the second row of the grid there with Liam Hasemans, of course, lining up fourth alongside Thomas Chrysonis. Chrysonis really starting to show out and show his abilities. As he said, he is so delighted to be an ambassador for Greece for the NASCAR Euro Series. Liam Hasemans, of course, and Jill Linster looking to bridge that divide across the continent with that Retty Jones Racing partnership for this year. I think this could be one of the most compelling races of the 2025 season, just shaping up so well. That top 10 is so competitive. Gorelli, Giffreau, Hasemans, Chrysonis, Muller, Lowe, Claudio Remeggio Capelli, Blakemolen, Erkely, Jack Davidson. However, we are missing one car that appears to be Fabrizio Armetta. Now, Armetta, unfortunately, did not compete in the open class qualifying session earlier on today. I just wonder if there's a technical issue there with Fabrizio Armetta, unfortunately. So there's one gap in the grid. Hopefully no others, though. We spoke, of course, about motor racing legends with the Van Muller being here on the grid. Of course, you've got a couple more out there as well. Several more potential legends along with it as well. But on the back row of the grid, quite a clash of Benelux motorsport legends. Mark Goossens, with a poor qualifying. I think he had a lap time deleted as well, which didn't help his cause. But Mark Goossens, starting from 22nd on the grid, of course, a legend of GT racing, of touring car racing, even of single-seaters in the early to mid-1990s. Also, these days, the team manager at the Red Ant Racing team, which has just expanded into GT3 competition for the first time. Mark, a very busy boy this year, but still wants to come and race in the NASCAR Euro Series, a category that he has made home for a while. Albeit, while he's made the series home for a while, he's been fairly nomadic as to which team he's with, and this year it's another new squad, Academy Alex Caffey Motorsport, that he joins, the team belonging to Federico Monti, and of course the ex-Formula One driver Alex Caffey. All through the grid there are fabulous stories. This is, for my money, just looking up and down the grid in front of me now, is this one of the most competitive Euro NASCAR Pro seasons I can remember? I think it could be. There are so many names that strike me as contenders for podiums, for victories this season. Anyone in that top dozen, I feel, could step onto the podium in the right circumstances. And indeed, I would say almost everyone on this grid could be able to win a podium on merit on their day. It's a thrilling season stacking up for us here in the NASCAR Euro Series. Let's throw down, though, because the most famous words in motorsport are about to be said by Lincoln Electric's Charles Fielden. The most famous words in motorsport coming up now. The command is given. Charles Fielden from Lincoln Electric, our Grand Marshal for today. And we are just about ready to go racing with the engines under fire. These 400 horsepower V8 machines about to go racing for the first time in 2025. It's been a long wait, an agonizing wait for some Euro NASCAR action. It was 6 months ago, of course, where we concluded the season at the Circuit Zolder, and that man in the foreground of shot, the number 24 of Vittorio Garelli, took the driver's title. Can he do it again in 2025? He is the race winner from race 1 of the year last season. He kicked off the year with a victory. He ended up dominating much of the season and ultimately won the championship after a hard-fought playoffs battle with that man alongside him, Paul Dufresne. 2 of the most legendary numbers in the annals of NASCAR history as well, the 3 and the 24. To be honest, if I was to put the Intimidator label on any of the drivers on that front row, it would actually be the 24 and not the 3. Garelli strikes me as the Intimidator in this battle. The green flag is waved and we are on to the formation lap for the NASCAR Euro Series. Their 18-lap race here at the Circuit Ricardo Tormo, our first of 4 races here this weekend. 2 for the pros, 2 for the open class, and this is the kickoff of the pro season. There's Fabrizio Armetta. He looks like he's going to join the field from a pit lane start, so at least Armetta is looking likely to join us. Paul Dufresne, our pole sitter in the number 3 RDV competition Mustang. He's alongside Vittorio Garelli in the PK Car Sport Chevrolet Camaro, the 24. The 13 PK Car Sport Camaro of Thomas Crasonis is next alongside the Retty Jones Racing Mustang of Liam Hasemans. 5th on the grid, it is the Ivan Muller machine, the Camaro from M Racing, the number 34. Garrett Lowe's 99 promotion car is 6th on the grid. Claudio Capelli in the Academy Alex Caffey Mustang, the number 5, lines up in 7th. Sebastian Blakemolen in the 69 Blakemolen Toyota Camry in 8th. Gianmarco Ercoli in the Mustang from the new Illumitech Racing team in 9th place, the number 11. Jack Davidson from Lux Motorsport rounds out your top 10. From there, it's Julian Reberg in 11th position in the 77 car from Promotion. Vladimir Osiortsis in his new steed, the Speedhouse number 64 Mustang in 12th. David Kayaya in the 48 car in 13th. Max Lanza in 14th in the 88. Ulis Delso's number 14 in 15th position. In 16th place, it was supposed to be Armetta, but it looks like he'll do a pit lane start. Giorgio Maggi, 17th on his return to the series for Speedhouse. Martin Dubek, the reigning Euro NASCAR 2 champion, lines up 18th here in the pro race. 19th, Kenko Miura in the 74 Team Japan Needs Toyota Camry. Max Maserati, 20th on the grid, the 47 car. 21st, Mikael Blakemolen. Mark Goosens rounding out the grid here as we get ready to start the pro race. I believe Andre should be with me. We're just a few corners away from racing. Andre, what are you expecting, friend?
Yes, I'm here, and they're already lining up side by side for the first race of the season. More than 9,000 horsepower will be launched in the Whelen start zone, and I'm just looking forward to this season. You said it already, it's such a competitive grid. I counted from experience almost at least 13 drivers capable of winning, but that doesn't mean the others cannot, because we have already seen some surprises during this weekend, so we are ready to kick off the 2025 NASCAR Euro Series season.
Always expect the unexpected when a full grid of NASCAR Euro Series machines line up 2 by 2. The start to this race presented by our longtime partners at Whelan. It's a new season, it's a new era. 2025 begins now. We're racing in the NASCAR Euro Series. It's the inside line, of course, for our pole sitter Paul Giffreau. He's got a nose ahead into turn 1. Hazeman's looking to the outside of Garelli for second place. Looks like he might lose out to Ivan Muller as they go streaming wide at the first corner. It's Giffreau in the lead. It's Chrysonis going up against his teammate. Chrysonis, the leading PK car sport car. Oh, goodness me, that's going to cause an eyebrow ruffle for Vittorio Garelli. He's now losing out to Ivan Muller. Muller has had a fabulous start. He's up to third place in the first appearance for M Racing in the NASCAR Euro Series. The four-time world champion was briefly up to third, but runs it wide out of turn 4. He drops back down behind the defending champion Vittorio Garelli, side by side still for third place. The top two, Giffreau and Chrysonis, streaking away. Muller still to the inside as he breaks late for turn 8. And does he get the car stopped? Just about. Ivan Muller secures himself in third position. That's Garelli down to 4th. Hazeman's behind him in 5th. Then it's Claudio Remeggio Capelli. Side-by-side action there for 7th place. Sebastian Blakemolen trying to go around the outside of Garrett Lowe, who's dropped a couple of places on this first lap of the race. It looks like just about everybody has got through the first lap cleanly, Andre. But what a start from Paul Giffreau, and what a first lap from Ivan Muller in third.
Yeah, what an amazing start, and the good thing is we had no issues, no crashes on the first lap of this season, and we see David Kjaya, they're going wide in the last turn in the Marcus de Motorsport Chevy Camaro with the 48, and in the back we also see Julian Rebeck in the 77 fighting it out with Martin Dubek. Jack Davidson in the fight now with Kjaya, and he has some front damage on his Chevy Camaro. The Georgian flag a little bit damage there on the Marcus de Motorsport car, so there was contact between Kjaya and maybe Davidson because they were very close together in the opening lap.
Big gap between the top two and the rest of the field then, 2.2 seconds between first and third place. Muller then in third place. I think he managed to get through on the first lap cleanly in spite of the amount of side-by-side racing he was doing. Don't think there's much damage on that number 34 Chevy Camaro. Of course, the incentive is there not to bend the panels when the panels belong to you. And Van Muller is the team boss as well as the driver in pro for this weekend. Vittorio Garelli will be eager to try and dispatch the Frenchman. Racing legend or not, Vittorio Garelli has a championship to win, and yes, it's early in the season. He doesn't need to scrap and fight for every single point at this stage of the year, but the onus is there, the incentive is there for Vittorio Garelli. And also pride. Thomas Chrysonis has come into the team, brand new to the squad, frankly hasn't had anything like the level of success in Euro NASCAR that Vittorio Garelli has had, and Vittorio will be keen to be the top PK car sport car at the end of this race.
But what I really like about Thomas Chrysonis, he's really matching the pace of Paul Giffreau. He's not letting him slip away, and Ivan Muller, he has now a gap of 2 seconds to close to join the fight for the race win. Further down the grid we see another overtaking attempt by Martin Dubek, I think, against David Kjaya, who's in 11th place at the moment. Garrett Lowe dropped 1 position. He lost a 6th place to Claudio Remeggio Capelli, but he's trying to fight back the hybrid racer, as they call him, at BS Plus competition. That's his iRacing team. He's racing here for the German team Remotion in the 99 car. And you remember maybe 1 or 2 lobbies from your iRacing or sim racing career, Adam. The starts are always a little bit the sensitive part of a race, but he really managed to make no mistakes, and he's still in the top 10. For me, as a iRacing fan and as a sim racer, he did a really good job in the real world.
I'm not fancy enough to have iRacing, but point taken, yes. The sim racing world does prepare you very well indeed for first lap chaos, and Garrett Lowe managed to navigate that all very nicely, keeping the pressure on Claudio Remeggio Capelli in the battle for 6th place for the time being. Some warnings already coming up for track limits and rejoining the circuit safely. The 48 car of David Kajaya is one of those drivers being warned, and I just wonder whether maybe that's a clue as to how he got his damage. Jack Davidson in the back of shot there in 10th place, running it wide, coming through turn 12. We pick up the back of this queue with Gianmarco Ercoli down in 9th position in the Illumitech number 11 Ford Mustang. He's not going to be thrilled with his starting position, but historically he has managed to move up through the field nicely in race conditions. Still, he came in with a chip on his shoulder. He wants to move up the field, as does Garrett Lowe. Great run out of the last corner, and that leads to a move at turn 1. But here comes Claudio Remeggio Capelli, leaning on the young American a little bit there. He's a fan of all things Americana. That doesn't mean an American driver is going to get an easy pass where Claudio Remeggio Capelli is concerned. Sebastian Blakemolen looked like he was going to investigate Garrett Lowe there for 7th place as we cut back to the lead between Dufro and Chrysonis. Thomas Chrysonis shadowing Paul Dufro every inch of the way, and a 1:41.470 the last time by for Chrysonis. Fastest lap of the race. He's lapping quicker than Paul Dufro for the time being, and I just feel like the Greek racer has come alive in the PK Carsport Chevrolet.
Yeah, definitely. He has a great pace at the moment. He holds the best lap of the race. That also means provisionally he would be on pole position for tomorrow's race, because the grid is based on the fastest laps of this race here today in Pro. I can tell you as well that Garrett Lowe defended 7th position against Sebastian Blakemolen. Here we see it, the 99 car. And then we have Gianmarco Ercoli in the 11th car. Yeah, not the best start to a season so far, but it's about consistency. In Euro NASCAR, you get 40 points for a win. Second place, 35 points, and then it's just 1 point per position. So in the end, it's very important to score solid points, consistent points over the regular season, in the regular season, before heading into the double point playoff. So even if you're not capable of winning a race, it's very important to score those top 10 results, and I think that's exactly what Gianmarco Ercoli is trying to do. And now Garrett Lowe gets back 6th position. What a great move in turn 1.
Yeah, Garrett again setting that up, coming out of the final corner, moves up into 6th position, and this time it looks definitive for Garrett Lowe. Claudio Remeggio Capelli dropping down to 7th then. He's he was heading the queue. It's now Garrett Lowe heading a queue of 5 cars, almost 6 cars, because behind this 5 is Martin Dubek. Now Dubek started well down the grid. He started this race from P18, and he's already knocking on the door of the top dozen. In fact, he's in 11th place. He's knocking on the door of the top 10, and a move could be on for the lead. Thomas Chrysonis has a look to the inside there at turn 8. Can't get it done just yet, but that door beckoned open slightly there for Paul Dufro going into the braking zone at turn 8, and he's not going to be able to give Thomas Chrysonis too many opportunities like that before the Greek driver strikes. And I think Dufro there had to really, really work to be the last on the brakes to retain that lead there.
It seems like that Thomas Chrysonis has a really, really good car in this phase of the race. We have to take a look if it's the same at the end of the race, because the tires, of course, they were a little bit down. The track conditions, they will change, and they have to preserve those tires also for tomorrow's race. They cannot switch to a new set of tires. The same tires will be on the cars tomorrow, so battling may also hurt the pace for tomorrow. But Thomas Chrysonis, he's eager to win his first pro race, and he's putting Paul Dufro under pressure lap by lap. And I think the Greek is a little bit faster right now as the French. And in turn 2, he tries it again on the outside. Couldn't make that move a stick, but it's a great battle for the lead.
It's that first sector as well where it seems like Chrysonis has the leg up, has the pace advantage. The car really well hooked up for this run from turn 1 through to about turn 5. Just seems to suit the Camaro underneath him very well at this juncture. Just to cover it, if you're new to the NASCAR Euro Series, I'm talking about Chevrolets, Fords and Toyotas. They are all mechanically identical. Same engine, same gearbox, same chassis. The cars are, mechanically speaking, identical. It is just aesthetics, but you still have your preferences, of course. There was a yellow flag down at turn 5 that's now been lifted. Not quite sure who that was for.
I can tell you it was Sebastian Blekemolen. He dropped several positions after a short ride into the gravel trap. So the 69 is now between Ulysse Dulson and Kenko Miura. So Sebastian Blekemolen unfortunately lost here many positions after an off-track experience in turn 5.
Down to 17th place for Blekemolen. That's a rough start to the season. Circuit Ricardo Tormo, of course, didn't treat him particularly well last year either. We had the quote-unquote big one on the run down to the first corner in the second race last year, and Blekemolen was one of the drivers caught up in that, and unfortunately he's now well outside the top 15. Fabrizio Armetta, incidentally, did join the race, but is now back in the pit lane, so it looks like whatever issue is going on with the Club Motorsport number 55, it is ongoing. The top two still close together, Dufro and Chrysonis. Muller is leading a 3-car battle between himself, Vittorio Gorelli, and Liam Hazemans meanwhile. Great scrap going on here. Incidentally, there have been a couple of bulletins directed at every single team saying, remind the drivers, warn the drivers about track limits. And that is a critical bulletin. Contact also between the 48 car of Kajaya and the Gianmarco Ergoli number 11. That contact on the first lap is under investigation between the two of them. So those are the two cars that made contact in the first lap, and that of course caused damage for the 48 car. We go back to the live pictures. Claudio Reggio Capelli seems to have dropped down the order as well. He's down to 11th place, so Claudio Capelli has also lost positions as we watch Vittorio Gorelli on the offensive against Ivan Muller. So the order is shuffled behind the top 5. It's still Garrett Lowe in 6th. In 7th place it's Erkeli. In 8th place it's Davidson. Dubek into the top 10 ahead of Julian Reberg. Ivan Muller, meanwhile, just staying ahead of Vittorio Gorelli in a spectacular battle between these three. Experience on all parties' shoulders, albeit vastly different experience. Liam Hazemans, of course, a product of the Euro NASCAR system, debuted in the series in 2022 and is really showing what he is capable of up against two world-class drivers.
By the way, I just saw the aftermath of Sebastian Blekemolen off track, but I remember... Oh, yeah.
Gorelli going for 3rd place there. Vittorio Gorelli has managed to get to the inside at the first corner. Here comes Ivan Muller fighting back at the second corner. Ivan Muller holds on to 3rd for the time being. Vittorio Gorelli stating his intent. He means business. We're almost halfway through this race and he's still in 4th position. He's still stuck behind Ivan Muller and he's half a dozen seconds back from the top 2. This is going to get more and more frustrating for Vittorio Gorelli. Looks like there's a bumper at turn 4 that is loose. Back to you though, Andre.
Yeah, it was Capelli lost the positions when Sebastian Blekemolen was off track, and I believe that they were really close together, so maybe there was something there. There's also an investigation between Reberg 77 and Capelli, the number 5. There has been a contact, and while we're seeing the battle for 3rd place, I can tell you Paul Giffreau really improved his pace right now. He's faster than Thomas Chrysonis, and therefore they split a little bit. Chrysonis still on the back bumper of the 3, but I think he had his shots earlier in the race, and right now Giffreau is gaining more and more pace, so his number 3 RDV competition car maybe a little bit more like a long run car, and Chrysonis more on a short run here in this first race in Euro NASCAR Pro.
Martin Dubek is in the pit lane. At the end of the previous lap, Martin Dubek withdrew from the race into the pits, and that's a huge shame. He was already up into the top 10 from 18th on the grid. The defending Euro NASCAR Open champion unfortunately withdrawing from the race. Kenko Miura, meanwhile, side by side with the smoking Massimiliano Lanza. So Lanza's 88 Cal racing car looking unhealthy. Now, is that just tyre rub or is that something more sinister? I think it could just be tyre, but it's certainly a lot of tyre smoke coming potentially from the right, the right rear, as Claudio Reggio Capelli slows up in front of them. Doesn't seem to be able to get the car turned there into the first corner. Drifts well wide. I think your theory regarding Blekemolen and Capelli finding each other is accurate. A lot of wounded cars, though. I'm getting the feeling it might be more sinister than just tyre rub for Max Lanza. That looks pretty significant.
Michael Blekemolen, by the way, also in the pits, so a very bad day right now for Team Blekemolen. Sebastian dropping down the order after a off-track experience, and now Michael Blekemolen in the Challenger Trophy. Back in the pits, by the way, also Paul Gifford and Thomas Cassones not only battling for the lead of the race, also in the Junior Trophy. Third in there is Liam Hazelmans in the 30 car, the yellow one we have here in this battle for third place overall. Garrett Lowe fourth in the Junior Trophy, and Jack Davidson completing the top 5. In the Challenger Trophy, we have now David Kajaya first, ahead of Claudio Capelli and Kenko Miura.
Getting some unconfirmed reports that Miura might have been put into a spin there just as we cut away. Not sure about that, but what we can see is that Giuffre and Chrysonis have now built a huge gap, and Thomas Chrysonis, of course, at this stage of the race, he should feel free to start challenging for that race lead because he's got a gap. Here comes Garelli. He's got a gap to the inside of Ivan Muller, but once again, Muller manages to get himself to the inside for turn 2. This time he's got to do some more late braking to stay ahead of Vittorio Garelli, but he does just that, and Garelli being shown a clean pair of heels yet again by Ivan Muller. Ivan with almost 3 decades of touring car racing tricks underneath his helmet, of course. He knows exactly what to do in a tin top race, and it's really quite a joy to watch this battle. I'm sure Liam Hazelmans is enjoying it from his vantage point, but he also wants to get through the field. He wants to move on. Of course, he wants a podium, but he's also going to be very conscious of the fact that Garrett Lowe is lapping quickly behind him. Garrett Lowe was quicker than all 3 of those drivers on the previous lap. The sim racer turned Euro NASCAR competitor is going to be fighting, I suspect, for a top 5 position before long.
Wow, and this is impressive. This guy has, of course, real world experience, but his home is the sim racing world, and he's doing a really good job in his first race in a Euro NASCAR. I mean, he's able to match the pace of Ivan Muller, Vittorio Garelli, he's the champion. Liam Hazelmans, a Open champion from the past, so Garrett Lowe in a perfect shape here, and his teammate Julian Rehberg, he's fighting right now with Vladimir Tsotzis. Also Rehberg, the promotion driver of the 77, right now in the top 10, so the German team has something to celebrate right now.
Yes, they do. Of course, the promotion team have had so much success in their brief tenure as a Euro NASCAR team, and the new collaboration with Garrett, with the BS Plus competition sim racing team, is certainly an exciting one, and good to see that car right up in amongst it. One of the quickest drivers out there on the circuit right now, predictably, is Gianmarco Ercoli. Again, a race pace car, the Illumitech racing car. Seemingly we saw it a lot while Ercoli was under the Cal Racing banner last year, of course, that the car seemed to come alive more so. Oh dear, and Max Lanza, whether it was just tyre rubber initially, I don't know, but it certainly caught alight a bit more towards the end of his run. Unfortunately, Lanza out of the race there. May have been some, tyre marbles caught in the brake duct or something like that to create that much smoke, but Lanza unfortunately out of the race.
Paul Giffre, meanwhile, expanded his lead to 1.2 seconds over Thomas Chrysonis. And what I really liked, Adam, in the battle for third place between Muller, Girelli and Hazelmans, a lot of respect. They are not barely touching. Here and there, of course, they rub a little bit, but there were no fouls, nothing going on there. A lot of respect also between Vladimir Tsotzis in the 64 car and Julian Rehberg in the 77. This is the battle for 8th place right now. The second promotion entry in white-blue, and behind him Vladimir Tsotzis, the Cyprus Euro NASCAR driver in the colors of a Speedhouse. The 64 entered by Luca Lasser, the team boss of Speedhouse, and they are fighting for positions here in top 10. And you see that meanwhile Sebastian Blekemolen, he gained ground, and now the attack. This is Liam Hazelmans against Vittorio Girelli.
And it's a hip check. Liam Hazelmans with a nose ahead. Can Garelli try and get back through on the braking zone into turn 4? He's not close enough, but that little hip check there from Hazelmans is going to get taken personally, I'm sure, by Vittorio Garelli. Ivan Muller is home free. He's going to love this. they can fall into the clutches of Garrett Lowe for all he cares. He'd love a Euro NASCAR podium on debut. Hazeman's then up into 4th position. Vittorio Garelli demoted to 5th. This is not the script that the defending champion had in mind for today. Someone's calling an audible here, and at the moment it's Liam Hazeman. Garrett Lowe is just behind him in that 99 car now. Garelli under significant pressure. He wants to fire back against Hazeman, but it's a calculated risk anytime he makes a dive, because Garrett Lowe is waiting in the wings. And who's that closing in as well? Why, it's Gianmarco Ercoli.
And you know, I talked to the Motion engineers, and what they liked about Garrett Lowe so far is that he's a really preservist driver. He knows exactly how to manage the tires and how to get a really smooth racing line, and this may be an advantage for the 99. If he managed the tires a little bit better and he had not such intense fights like Garelli, maybe he has a little bit more pace in the 99 in the Motion Chevrolet right now.
Lots of cars, unfortunately, haven't made it the distance in this race so far. Claudio Remeggio Capelli is the latest to be in the pits. We saw Lanza in, Jack Davidson, unfortunately, also in the pit lane. We have seen a few different instances of contact and damaged cars out there on the circuit. Meanwhile, no such issues at the moment for Vittorio Garelli, but he is under pressure from Garrett Lowe. Garrett, a race winner in stock cars in the United States in very different circumstances indeed. This certainly is not a facility, a short oval facility, much like the Lonesome Pine Motorsports Park where he's won late model races previously. This is the Circuit Ricardo Tormo. This is a road course. This is an international racing facility. And, well, Garrett Lowe is adapting brilliantly, and I'm sure that a lot of his friends from the world of eNASCAR, from the US racing scene, including those at Lonesome Pine, will be cheering him on. 6 laps to go in this race. Vittorio Garelli certainly not having the race he would have expected from the front row of the grid, Andre.
Yeah, but I have some information. Giorgio Maggi parked his car in a safe place, and Mark Goosens is going very, very slow. I think he's heading towards the pits right now. We see the number 1 car on the right corner of the screen. He got away from the racing line to not intervene in any battles here right now, but we lost 2 more cars. Giorgio Maggi off track in a safe place, and now Mark Goosens in the pits.
Yeah, big shame that a few cars have had issues in this one, but we are still seeing some exciting racing at the front of the field. We haven't seen Giuffre and Chrysonis much. They are still separated by just over a second. Is Thomas Chrysonis playing the long game? Is he happy to just sit there in second? Or is he trying to preserve his tyres for a last-minute run at the victory up against Paul Giuffre? Chrysonis is a very measured driver, quite a sensible man, I reckon. But he'll want the overtake if he can get it. Looked like Liam Hazeman was drifting wide there, though. As we cut away, yes, Vittorio Garelli is back through. Liam Hazeman's wide at turn 5. Is he going to try and fire back? The answer is no. But Hazeman's very uncharacteristic error there, just missed the apex effectively, carried too much speed into the corner, and Vittorio Garelli re-inherits 4th place.
Wow, what a great move. And I'm taking a look at the best laps right now because they are determined the starting grid for tomorrow's race. At the moment, Thomas Chrysonis on pole position ahead of Paul Giuffre, Vittorio Garelli, Ivan Muller, Garrett Lowe, Vladimir Tsotis, and Liam Hazeman, who did not have the space right now to clock a lap that would put him into the first rows of tomorrow's race.
That's the hard thing, isn't it? Sometimes you can be fighting for a podium position and all the while dooming yourself to start well down the order with this race format. Remember that 1 second gap I was talking about between Giuffre and Thomas Chrysonis at the front? Never mind that, it was 3/10 at the line, and it's even less as they run through the first couple of corners. Chrysonis has now come alive, come awake at this stage of the race. We're on lap 15 of 18 here in the NASCAR Euro Series. This is the opening race of the season at the Circuit Ricardo Tormo, and Paul Giffreau is at the front of the field at his second home of Valencia, an area of Spain that he has a huge compassion for, a huge enjoyment of from his younger years coming here on holiday. The Frenchman who carries the Valencia flag on his car as a secondary home, a nod to Valencia everywhere he goes. Thomas Chrysonis, meanwhile, in uncharted territory. He is marking himself as a potential front-runner throughout this year's 2025 NASCAR Euro Series. I think we all expected a step forward from Thomas after his 2024 season. Inking that deal with PK Carsport, of course, was also a head-turner, also a point of interest coming into 2025. But I don't know if even he would have said, yes, I'll be fighting for the race win on my first weekend of 2025. But that's exactly what he's doing in the Pro Division, no less. He has one top 5 to his name in Euro NASCAR Pro, and that came at Zolder at the end of last year. It is amazing the strides he has taken over the winter.
Yeah, what an amazing performance. And Adam, I see 3 laps to go, I think, right now. So it's my time to head towards the podium, towards victory lane, to welcome the race winner. See you later.
And who do you think that winner's going to be? I'm not sure yet. Paul Giffreau is your current race leader. Will he still be there at the end of this 3-lap dash to the checkered flag? There are some bulletins going out, of course, through the race control system, but nothing sinister. Look at that gap, though, between the top 2 and third place. 11.5 seconds from second to third place. Ivan Muller running well in P3, 1.5 seconds clear of Vittorio Garelli, but these top 2 have really disappeared up the road from the very first corners of the race. It was quite clear that it was going to be between Giffreau and Chrysonis, and they've barely been a second apart all race long. It looks like Giffreau has opened up the taps a little on this lap. He just set his personal best first sector, a 23.392 that time by, and he was also 2/10 quicker in the second sector. I'm wondering if maybe it was Giffreau who was trying to save some tyres, save a little bit for the end of the race, or maybe he's being willed on by the pace of Chrysonis. Either way, with 2 to go, it is still exceedingly close for the race lead here at the Circuit Ricardo Tormo. In third place is Ivan Muller, 4th position Vittorio Garelli. Liam Hazeman's rounding out your top 5 ahead of Garrett Lowe. In 7th place is Gianmarco Ercoli, Siortzis-Nake, Reberg in 9th, and Sebastian Blakemolen surviving the race, even though he had that issue in the gravel that we didn't see on screen earlier on. He's back in the top 10. Meanwhile, car 13 has a 10-second penalty. Thomas Chrysonis, with a track limits penalty, has extended the circuit one time too many, and a track limits penalty has been handed down. Liam Hazeman's also has a warning for track limits, but Thomas Chrysonis is effectively out of contention for the race victory. On the road, he's still fighting with Giffreau, but now he's going to have to settle for second place. Rather conveniently for Thomas Chrysonis, his advantage over Ivan Muller in third is 12.5 seconds, so as it stands he would finish in second even with the penalty, but all the same that is unfortunate for Chrysonis that he has that penalty, and he might just choose to stick behind Paul Giffreau now and get to the flag. We are heading towards the final lap of this motor race. It's significantly closer between Garrett Lowe and Gianmarco Ercoli in 6th and 7th places as well. And we now know that this battle between Giffreau and Chrysonis is effectively inconsequential. Thomas Chrysonis has a 10-second penalty, and I don't think he'll do anything too silly with that penalty in mind. He's a sensible driver. Now you'll note that just behind them is Fabrizio Armetta. Now he of course is running several laps down after some technical issues, but actually he's making up positions. He's 16th now, passing some of the drivers who are in the pit lane, and he will actually register a 15th place finish with his efforts out there on track. So the Club Motorsport sent the car back out there, got it underway, and they could be rewarded with some points that might well matter at the end of this. Your top two, Dufro and Chrysonis, running in tandem. Chrysonis has a 10-second penalty over his head for track limits violations. But I'm not sure that's going to matter to him too much, really. He has Ivan Muller almost 14 seconds behind. Speaking of which, Muller might have to worry about Vittorio Garelli on this final lap, because the gap has shrunk back down to half a second between Ivan Muller and Vittorio Garelli. We need to keep half an eye on that third and fourth place battle, because Ivan has lost time over the last few laps to Vittorio Garelli, and if Vittorio gets half, nay, a third of a chance, he will try and make a move for that third position. Of course, the defending champion wants to start his year with a podium. The runner-up from last year, the junior champion from last year, Paul Dufro, heads towards the final corner. He loves to have a good result here at Valencia, and he is going to kick off his 2025 season in the best way possible. It's a win for RDV competition for Paul Dufro. The number 3 car will head to victory lane ahead of Thomas Chrysonis in second. He will retain second place despite the penalty. Where is Ivan Muller? Where is Vittorio Garelli? Are they in third and fourth place still? Yes, they are. Ivan Muller does cross the line in third. Garelli crosses the line in fourth. That was Liam Hazemans across the line in fifth position. In sixth place, Garrett Lowe. In seventh place, Gianmarco Ercoli. What a feather in the cap for young Garrett Lowe. 6th overall, ahead of Gianmarco Ercoli. That's the 2023 champion that he just beat. Very impressive. Paul Dufro from RDV competition is your winner. Thomas Chrysonis takes second place. Ivan Muller from M Racing takes third position on the debut for the driver and the team. Vittorio Garelli fourth. Liam Hazemans for Retty Jones Racing in fifth. Garrett Lowe in sixth. Gianmarco Ercoli, 7th position. Sebastian Blakemolen is not in the 64 car. That is Vladimir Osiortsis. He is 8th. Julian Reberg in 9th. And it is Sebastian Blakemolen in 10th place, rounding out that top 10. Ulysse Delso in 11th. Kenko Miura has crossed the line in 12th place ahead of David Kajaya, I should say. Max Maserati in 14th. Fabrizio Armetta in 15th. And that was it for the finishers. Goossens, Capelli, Maggi, Lanza, Davidson, Dubek and Mikael Blakemolen all not taking the flag. But it is Paul Dufro who will cruise to victory lane once again. Last year, Dufro scored 2 race wins on his way to the runners-up in the Euro NASCAR Pro Championship. He's already got 1 win after the first race of the season. Last year, the first race was won by Vittorio Garelli. He went on to win the championship. Paul Dufro, last year's junior champion. The 2023 Euro NASCAR 2 champion. Also, of course, the youngest ever winner in Euro NASCAR Pro history, Paul Dufro. In his short tenure in the series, he really has shown what he is capable of. Time and time again. There's Ivan Muller's 34 car pulling up under the podium. Of course, victory lane beckons for Dufro. Exciting racing, as always, in the NASCAR Euro Series. A good start to the season. While I'm competing for airspace with Katy Perry, it will be Paul Dufro celebrating in victory lane. In the next few moments, he will pull up. And celebrate. It seems like Sebastian Blakemolen may have had an issue at the end of the race after the checkered flag. This is a replay of the race start. Vittorio Garelli just getting swallowed up. To his inside there was Thomas Chrysonis. He had to give space to his teammate. He drifted wide at the first corner. Chrysonis had the inside then for turn 2. And Ivan Muller found his way through in the first sector of the lap as well. Of course, Garelli would fire back on numerous occasions, but each time Ivan Muller had the measure of the situation and managed to move himself back into third position. It was a great fight. Garelli kept trying it at turn 1. Ivan kept scything back through into position. Liam Hasemans was watching on and having some looks as well, of course, for fourth position. It got very close for comfort at points. Of course, Hasemans would find his way into fourth place. On the way into turn 2, it was a late braking move, a bit of a block pass from Hasemans, and he did hold that fourth position for 2 or 3 laps. He then, however, drifted wide and ended up losing places as a result of it, coming out of turn 5, turn 6, sorry, that critical error for Liam Hasemans. So then, Hasemans across the line in 5th ultimately, but a win for Paul Giffreau. He will be elated with that performance, I'm quite sure. No better way to kick off a season than a race win, of course. And here in the NASCAR Euro Series, the feeling of winning is very special. You have that victory lane, you get the big podium pomp and circumstance celebrations, and of course you get that all-important sticker above your door that says I am a race winner. And Paul Giffreau got a few of those last year. He and Patrick Schauber both won 2 races in that number 3 RDV Mustang last year. Thomas Chrysonis, of course, yet to secure a win in Euro NASCAR Pro. That's his first Euro NASCAR Pro podium for Thomas Chrysonis. He's only been in the top 5 once before. But what a performance from Chrysonis to be up there and in amongst it. He, of course, will be racing in the Open race later on. He's yet to win any race in the NASCAR Euro Series in the Open or the Pro divisions, Thomas Chrysonis. And the fact that he's runner-up today in the Pro race bodes well for his season in the Open class as well as the Pro division. Here is the number 3, the RDV Paul Giffreau machine. Andre Viegold, the first to greet him and congratulate him. And on Andre's command, the number 3 will be vacated by Giffreau. And for the first time this season, Paul will celebrate a victory. Out of the car comes Paul Giffreau, and in front of his second home crowd. He doesn't have a NASCAR GP France to call his own, so this is the home event for Paul Giffreau. And he will be elated to win a race this early in the season. To win the first race is always a power move, always a statement of potential, of intent for the year to come. Last year, Vittorio Garelli secured the first win. He went on to win that title. RDV competition have come on leaps and bounds, have returned to the top in the last couple of years. And Andre, we can see you there with Paul. We'll go down there as soon as we can as Paul Giffreau gets ready to celebrate this day. Of course, he will be sat there with the RDV team cheering on Patrick Schauber in the Open race later on. But for now, Giuffreau is celebrating the best possible start to his 2025 NASCAR Euro Series campaign. Andre, he's with you.
Paul, what a fight, what a race, and an incredible race win here at Circuit Ricardo Tormo. Your fans behind your back, how are you feeling?
Not bad. No, it's really nice. It's really nice. As the plan wanted me to go, exit the first turn P1 and finish P1. Thomas has had a really good pace, to be honest. At the moment, I wanted to manage the pace to get a fresh tire for tomorrow, but he was really pushing hard after behind me. And then my spotter told me that he had a 10-second penalty, so yeah, I wasn't really taking care of him anymore. But congratulations to him, he was really good, and happy to finish this first race first.
After free practice, we saw Rette Jones racing, Liam Hazeman, Jill Insta on top, and the RDV competition car in the mix, but not 100% at that pace. Sandbagging a little bit, or what happened there?
No. We are not in endurance. No. It's cars that need a really good setup to be fast, so we were just working really hard on the setup, and we didn't put as much as new tire as them, so that's really nice. So I wasn't sandbagging at really.
You know I have to ask.
Yeah, of course.
All right, thank you so much. Congratulations. You're a NASCAR Pro Race winner. Paul Giuffreau, back to you, Adam.
Celebrations for Paul Giuffreau and the team and his fans there at the fences, cheering on their adoptive home driver. The number 3 RDV competition crew have seen a lot of success. There was a bit of a fallow period at the start of the 2020s for RDV. Frédéric Gabillon stepped aside from racing and started to help Paul Giuffreau with coaching, and that made a big difference as well to the fortunes of the Frenchman. And what about Thomas Chrysonis? His first ever Euro NASCAR podium. It comes in the Pro division, where he's only had one top 5 previously. He took 3 podiums in the open class last year. This is a huge boost to his overall championship hopes as well. Kenko Miura is with you, Andre.
Thank you so much, Adam. Kenko Miura. As far as I know, you're the Challenger Trophy winner.
Yeah.
You come back to Valencia and you have a class win. How do you feel?
Yeah, it's very good feel because in the qualify I mistake something. So during the race, the push, and then spotter Fred also coming to the push with the coring. So after the last lap, before the last lap, I get past the first class of faster, then pass. Yeah, it's good.
All right, congratulations. Thank you so much. Enjoy it.
Yeah, enjoy it.
Back to you, Adam.
Awesome to hear from Kenko, who was indeed our winner in Challenger Trophy. David Kajaya second in that class. Claudio Capelli will be classified third, since so many drivers didn't get many laps in. Well, actually, I think Armetta. Chrysonis is with Andre.
So much, Adam. We are sorting the standings afterwards. I don't think we have to talk about track limits and 10 seconds penalties. I want to talk about you. Where did you get that pace from?
Well, as I said, first of all, I have to thank my sponsors, Cosa Mare, Dodoni, my personal trainer, Paul Tibas, my team, PK Carsport, because they prepared for me an amazing car, and without all of them together, nothing of this would be possible. So now, regarding the pace, I was hearing track limits. I thought in the back of my head that, okay, we need a little bit to push. I don't know where are the others behind, but from what they tell me, I don't know, you have to confirm with me, I was 14 seconds behind the third one.
That's exactly what I know.
So P2, yeah, I had to push, to keep the position. It was okay. And from what I know, we have also the pole position for tomorrow. So I cannot be happier than this. It's you look at me like this because I'm tired, but I think we are where we need to be, to start the championship.
To be honest, have you expected to be that fast in pro that you beat your teammate Vittorio Gurelli, the reigning champion, and be able to fight for the race victory?
Well, if I don't believe that I can win, there is no point in racing, you know. So that's the thing. With the work with Alan helped me a lot to get up to this pace. I tried to copy him. He's calling me, you know, Alan Junior and dumb, but it's okay. Somewhere in the middle there is a fast driver. So yeah, that's the phase that we are putting on right now.
All right, congratulations. Thank you so much. See you later. Back to you, Adam.
Thank you very much, Andre. Great to hear from Thomas Grasonis. That belief, that determination. If I didn't think I could win, I wouldn't be here. And he has really shown up for this weekend. Very, very quick indeed. Paul Giffro continues to celebrate. For confirmation, of course, Fabrizio Armetta isn't a Challenger Trophy driver, so that was my mind failing me there. There is Andre once again. No audio on Andre. No audio, unfortunately, there seemingly for Andre. As Paul Giffro continues to celebrate his win. I think at the behest of the local announcer, Paul Giffro continues to celebrate. Sounds like we have Andre back again now. Hopefully we can go back down there.
We do it like this. 1, 2, check. Adam, do you hear me? I hope.
Yeah, you're on. You're on.
Yeah, perfect. So David Kajaya next to me, first Euro NASCAR race, an eventful one. Also in the battle for the Challenger Trophy win. How do you feel?
Yeah, it was really fun to drive this car. No traction control, no ABS. It's pure driving car. Yeah, at the beginning I was too aggressive. I damaged my front and I lost aero in straight line. My car was too slow. Also, I damaged brake cooling, and at the end I struggled to stop the car. The pedal was long, but at the end I'm on the podium. I am happy, and first race, first podium. Thank you to all, and it's great weekend.
All right, thank you so much. Congratulations and have fun. Back to you, Adam.
He's learned all of the key phrases, hasn't he? Pure racing is right there on message with the ethos of the NASCAR Euro Series. Fabulous to hear from some of our drivers down there. That was David Kajaya. We have the podiums coming up very soon, of course. Podiums for the overall standings, as well as our junior and challenger classifications here in the NASCAR Euro Series. Meanwhile, let's go back down with the Van Muller to Andre.
Thank you so much. And in regards of Adam, the commentator, and myself, how much fun was it out there?
I can't say it was fun. You know, I was struggling with myself. I was doing so many mistakes. I'm not used to this kind of effort. So yeah, I am on the podium. Glad. First time in this championship for the M Racing team. But I have to improve myself.
But it was a very respectful battle from the outside with Girelli and Hazemans. How did you like the racing?
Yeah, it was strong but correct, as racing should be.
All right, merci beaucoup. Thank you so much, and congratulations. Back to you, Adam.
Did you hear that, Andre? I have to improve, he says. I need to improve myself. Well, he wouldn't improve himself if he was only going to do one weekend with us, would he? I'm pushing the Van Muller Brands Hatch agenda to the nth degree. I don't care. He is a legend of motorsport in the UK, in particular, of course. And it would be great to see him there. But, yeah. Always interesting to hear drivers with the level of experience of someone like Van Muller, of Mark Goossens as well, Sebastian Bleekemolen, Mikael Bleekemolen. Their insights on the Euro NASCAR racing are always so fascinating because, of course, they have done just about everything there is to do in motorsport. And the fact that we keep attracting these experienced names, these blue chip talents in motor racing, it's a testament to the Euro NASCAR organisers, to the ever-increasing reputation of the NASCAR Euro Series here in Europe. There's Anthony Kumpen debriefing with Liam Hazemans, who I'm sure, while Anthony has never had Liam in one of his cars, I'm sure they've known each other since Liam could walk. Of course, Anthony Kumpen used to drive alongside Mike Hazemans, the older brother to Liam. So that is a tight-knit pair of families, the Hazemans and Kumpen families. Van Muller and Thomas Chrysonis debriefing as well. Chrysonis holding that second place even with the penalty. And Ivan seemingly, I think, getting that taste for racing again, as if it ever goes away. Saying he can do better, saying he needs to improve himself. This is meant to just be a one-off, seemingly, but I wouldn't mind betting there's more to come from Ivan this year. So awesome to have M Racing here this year. We know that Jan Erlacher will be racing with us later in the season, and that is, again, another huge name for the talents of the NASCAR Euro Series to try and compete against. Such a big litmus test to have drivers of that caliber, world champion drivers, joining the NASCAR Euro Series. And a word as well, I must say, to Garrett Lowe with his performance in today's race. Firmly impressed with that young man. To be so far up the order in the overall standing, to be fighting and beating a Euro NASCAR champion on his first appearance is hugely impressive. I believe our podium ceremonies are about to kick off. And we now move to the third position overall. This is the overall presentation. Ivan Muller comes up to the third step of the podium. Welcome back to motorsport, Ivan. We hope to see more of you after this weekend. Thomas Chrysonis takes the second step of the podium, his first ever Euro NASCAR Pro podium. And Paul Giffreau gets the hero's welcome onto the top step. I'm sure the French racing fans will love to see this. Paul Giffreau and Ivan Muller, both on the podium.
En honor del vencedor, el himno de Francia.
Round of applause for our drivers.
Marta García, campeona de la
We'll now have the presentations, of course.
Al tercer clasificado, Ivan Muller.
And Marta Garcia giving the trophy to Ivan Muller there, I believe so. Nicolas Collado, the director of the Circuit Ricardo Tormo, taking or providing the second place trophy to Thomas Chrysonis. Antonio Joaquin Woodward presenting Paul Giffreau with the winner's trophy. Paul Giffreau, his first win of the season. I bet when he was a kid, he dreamed of sharing podiums with Ivan Muller and indeed winning races here at the Circuit Ricardo Tormo. He spent so many of his younger days. Paul Giffreau celebrating a win. Thomas Chrysonis is all business. He's right off the podium. He, of course, has got to consider the open race later on. Although he's now been waved back on. And of course he'll be on the Junior Trophy podium, which is up next as well. What a cool visual. A winner draped in the Valencian flag as the fans watch on. Lots of very happy individuals with the result of that race. Of course, we have the Junior Trophy podium coming up next. That will also feature Paul Giffreau and Thomas Chrysonis, so they're not done yet. And of course Liam Hasemans will collect a third place trophy in the junior class as well. There is Liam Hasemans, Chrysonis and Giffreau joining him on this podium. And isn't it interesting how often now that we have almost a mirror of the overall result in the Junior Trophy? More than ever, you've got young, talented superstars of the future here in the NASCAR Euro Series, making themselves superstars at an early age in the NASCAR Euro Series. Of course, as Liam said, all of them, if they're here in the NASCAR Euro Series in their formative years in racing, they must have an eye on America. And as that border opens effectively between NASCAR and America and the International Series more and more, I expect we'll see more and more of these drivers being scouted for opportunities in the National Series of NASCAR, or in the ARCA Series, in the trucks, in Xfinity, even in Cup. Paul Giffreau celebrating his Junior Trophy win. And we will now move on to the Challenger Trophy class. Claudio Remigio Capelli taking the third step of the Challenger Trophy podium. Has to check which one is his. Ah dear, Claudio with a promising result in the number 5 car, the Academy Alex Caffey machine, on the second step of the podium there. David Kayaya and Kenko Miura on the top step for Team Japan Needs 24. Has been in and out of the series in recent years, has of course also been focusing a lot of energy on racing in America too. Always great to see Kenko Miura on the top step. Claudio Remigio Capelli with third position. He'll be looking for better fortunes, of course, in the open race later on. Less of those incidents and damages to his car in that race, I'm sure, will be the objective. David Kajaya representing Georgia with that Marco Stipp 48 entry this year. Second in Challenger for him, a good start to the season. Kenko invites his colleagues onto the podium, onto the top step of the podium for the final celebrations of this race. Of course, we have more racing to bring you today with the season opener for the open division of the NASCAR Euro Series, but the pro season has gotten underway, and boy, did it get underway with a thriller. The NASCAR Euro Series always delivers here at Valencia. This man, Paul Giffreau, always wants to deliver at Valencia too, and on this day he did. The Euro NASCAR Open Division will be racing later on today. But for now, the teams celebrate and bask in the glory of a fabulous season opener in the NASCAR Euro Series Pro Division here at Circuit Ricardo Tormo. Congratulations to Giffreau and our class winners. And we'll see you again later on today for the Open class.
It's all about who visits victory lane here in the NASCAR Euro Series.
No doubt, this year will be my year.
This year a win because I have all the cars to arrive in the victory.
Last of the late breakers into the first corner. He gets the position. Fabulous driving.
We have already 2 championships and we want the 3rd one.
I have one obsession and one goal, it's to win.
I'm Patrick Schober and I'm the best NASCAR driver from Austria.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have only one result. Get the 2nd ring.
Welcome to Ricardo Tormo here in Valencia.
Are you ready for pure racing?